Hey everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Today we finally get to take a look back at Royal Ascot from this year. Over the course of those days, it's some of the best fashion moments you can find, especially with the royal family, but also from all of the other celebrities that attend, but certainly the best hats. My top two looks from those days, hands down, are Catherine, Princess of Wales, in her beautiful red dress, which we're going to circle back to in a little bit, but also Zara Tindall wore this beautiful white gown that I am so in love with. I would love to find it. I'm going to try to search for a similar item because it is so beautiful. A big trend this year was these bright white dresses. We saw them all over the place. So many ladies wore these all white or mostly all white outfits. So that's running into that trendy but summery color. So white's having its shine this summer for sure. This lacy keyhole design was so beautiful. It was just stunning and it was an excellent fit for her. It complemented her figure fabulously. It hit her in all the right places and it was just the best. I think it was the best look of Royal Ascot this year. I believe this is Hannah Cross. I absolutely love the sleeves on this. They are gorgeous. The way that they flow, the way that they lay, the puff sleeve to them, and the way that they fit her are perfection. The silhouette overall of the dress is great. However, it is way too tight, and this satiny sort of texture, especially in white, is definitely the wrong choice to have super duper tight. And all these seams across going diagonally down the sides, and then there's some extra seams along the front, it appears, or maybe they're wrinkles, but it just looks sloppy. And then this bow, you know, it looks taped on. It looks cheesy. I didn't like it. I think that excessive seams and too tight, it ends up looking tacky. Also, if you're going to do a white dress with black accessories, I think you really need to tie that into your hat. I've said this before with other looks, but if there's a little bit of black in the hat, or if the bow was black, I suppose, maybe that would have been a little better, but I still would have hated the bow. Sabrina Percy also had a really awful look here with white and black. Like, what was she thinking? This is really bad. It looks messy. It's horrible. The opera gloves just look disgusting. They are horrible. They're mesh, I believe, and because of that, there's, just uneven and intense amount of lines throughout them. So they just look so horrible. And then this thick choker also looks bad. The hat seems a little out of place as well because it doesn't actually match the white of the dress. The shoes are fine. The shoes are totally fine. I feel like this dress by itself would have been totally fine, minus the opera gloves, and if the hat matched, the tone of white in the hat matched. Oh, and of course, lose that thick fabric choker that looks just strangling and awful. A thin choker, like if you were going for that look, a thin choker would be okay, but the white in the hat would still need to be that brighter color that matches the rest of the outfit. And no opera gloves. They are horrible. They look stupid. Travesty. This is half good, actually, here on Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. I quite like the dress in general, but the split bow situation happening on her neckline, I do not like at all. I don't like it for a lot of reasons, in part because it's split apart, but also she's a bustier gal, so adding bulk right here on her chest is not the way to go. And in general, I just don't like the way that that looks. But the rest of the dress is amazing, and perhaps that's why she bought it and wore it, because the rest of the dress fits her really nicely and looks really, really good. Look at where the waistline is here, because later on she's wearing something on a different day of Ascot with the seam right under her bust, and you can see the difference. This looks so much nicer. This is where it should be. It's wonderfully cut for her. It hits her at a good length. I really enjoy it. I also really like her hat. Here we have Sabrina Elba. I quite liked this one. It looks to be some sort of a tweed. It's a really nice texture, and the lapel is not textured and slightly brighter than the rest of the outfit, which I really like because that matches her hat and her shoes. So it's tied together really, really nicely. That V-neck just invites your eye to go down to that beautiful peplum, which just gives an air of an hourglass vibe. And then those buttons along the hip there, extending down the thigh, just continue to travel your eye right on down to that really nice slit. It is modest, it's interesting. I enjoy this outfit quite a lot. Okay, yet another amazing look in white. Rosie Tapner is wearing something that is just perfect in every way. This is what Sophie should have worn. This one right here. It's very similar in some ways with the belt and the length and the hit of the waist. She also has on trendy, chunky white block heels, just like a lot of the ladies this year are wearing a lot of those block heels, which is really good for a day like this. You're going to be outside walking around, maybe in the grass. So chunky heels are actually a lot easier to walk in when you're out and about in this sort of an environment. But let's just compare this very similar hat to the one that Meghan Markle wore at her one and only time at Royal Ascot. And you can see how much better Rosie's outfit and hat look. Her placement is much better than Meghan's is kind of slouchy and down a little bit farther. The hat, of course, it's not the exact same, but it is very, very similar. Meghan Markle's outfit just looks cheap. It looks disconnected and not good. And it was just a bit odd. I think that Meghan Markle's dress was Givenchy, I believe, but perhaps if she had buttoned it all the way up, it would have looked a little bit better, Meghan Markle's. But, you know, this is the difference here between knowing what you're doing and not. Lady Sarah Chatto also looks really lovely. This ensemble is really, really nice. It looks comfortable, elegant. I love the skirt on her. And yeah, I think she made no mistakes here. This is a great choice. Queen Camilla also had a day in which she wore white on trend, and I really like it. And it was by Dior. A lot of the gossip was that it was a bit of shade to Meghan Markle because Meghan Markle had just been publicly rejected by Dior, so to speak. That no, she was not, you know, in the runnings or in talks to become an advertiser for Dior. And then Queen Camilla wore this shortly thereafter, but she likely had this outfit picked out and being fitted long before the Dior drama broke out with Meghan Markle. If it was shade, it was subtle and it was perfection and not petty, but I think it was more of a coincidence because these ladies have their outfits planned out quite a little bit in advance, and it looks to be something that had been tailored to her, so I doubt the timeline would work out. My theory, though, is that Meghan Markle just tends to put something in the press and thinks that it'll stick. Like, she just will say she's being considered to be Dior's ambassador. She says she's being considered to do the Bodyguard sequel. Like, just nonsense that is not real. She just makes it up in hopes that she can, like, make it be. Maybe that's how she, you know, kind of roped Harry into things by revealing their relationship, calling the paparazzi, you know, and maybe that's kind of what worked back then and she's trying it out with other things. But I don't think it's working because people just kind of ignore it and don't take it seriously, and it's not a good approach. But that's what I think. I think that those rumors are all just her trying to kind of force something to happen or force an idea into people's heads. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, back to Queen Camilla. This look was really, really nice. I do think that it could have been maybe a little bit better fitted throughout the arms and waistline. Maybe would have been nice. But you know, when you get to a certain age, I feel like you just get to wear whatever you feel is most comfortable. And if that is slightly looser sleeves or looser waistlines, then go for it, okay? You do you. What else did Queen Camilla wear on the other days of Ascot? Because she and King Charles attended every single day. Let's see. She also wore this pink coat dress, which was rewear from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's wedding day. This was really, really nice. It was nice then. It's nice now. All of her outfits' hemlines are in a good place, though they could stand to be a tad bit shorter if she wanted. I feel like she has legs to pull it off. But, you know, again, if she feels more comfortable in things that are a tad bit longer, or as queen now she doesn't feel comfortable with things that are shorter, then all the power to her. You know, she's queen. The pale green might have been my least favorite of them all, but I don't know. I feel like they were all pretty good, pretty standard. She's kind of got a collection that she knows works well for her, and she's sticking with it. And I think that, Queen Elizabeth did the same thing. So perhaps, especially in the first few years as queen, perhaps she's just trying to really play things safe and be sure that she's doing looks and outfits and stuff that are not like taking too many risks. All of her hats looked fabulous though. This one I like the best that has the white and the black together. And she just looked lovely. Charles looked lovely too. I feel like they just had a lot of fun at this event. It seems like a good time in general. I feel like everybody has a lot of fun at Ascot, and this hat is just spectacular. Oh my goodness, the more I look at it, the more I love it. But I just think that she looked really nice all days. I think that none of them were amiss, but I also think they're all really, really similar and really light, pale tones. So there's not a ton of difference between all, but that's okay. Aside from the white trend, we also saw a lot of florals, as Beatrice wore this floral dress, which had a great silhouette and hit her at a good spot for her waistline. It looked really nice overall, although the ruffles on the collar leaned a little bit too bedspread or quilt for me. The print is certainly not in everyone's taste, but this one, I think it's just okay. I like the pink color. I like the green color on it. It's just, I feel like maybe the print is throwing people off just a tad on this one. I really like her headband too. That's really pretty. I love it. The other floral look that she wore had this white lacy dress, which I loved. And then it had these flowers. It looked like they were embroidered on, but that was a little bit of a miss for me. It came across just a bit too busy, like too much going on. But her hat that day was the absolute best. Look how gorgeous this hat is. Oh my goodness, I love it. And I mean, the dress overall is beautiful. It's just you've got puff sleeves, you've got a slight drop waist on it, which she can pull off. She's got a real skinny waist. And then you've got the lace sheer overlay and the flowers. So it's just kind of a lot. And they're in like lots of different colors too. Like I'm sure in person it looks to be the most beautiful work of art ever, but just as a wearable, it's just maybe a little bit busy. What do you guys think about this one? The next floral look that we have is from Zara Tindall, and this is going to be a no for me here. I absolutely love her, and I am planning a Zara fashion edition, but this one just almost looked frumpy. I hate to say it. She looked a little big in it. It almost looked like she was being overwhelmed by the amount of fabric in that one. She is a little bit more petite, so I just think it was a case of too much fabric going on, not fitted quite well enough. And I'm not thinking it's the case here, but like sometimes ladies go for slightly looser garments because they want to like hide their tummy, or they feel like their waistline isn't as thin as they would like, or they feel a little wider, or they just don't feel comfortable in tighter clothes any longer for whatever reason, which I totally get and respect, especially like in postpartum seasons. I've been there too. But a better way to do it would be to add some sort of structure and to divert the eye away from the waist in a different way, adding volume somewhere else, color blocking, things of that nature that draw the eye away from the waist without wearing looser clothing that adds volume no matter what. Because when your clothes are a little bit too loose or your waistline isn't defined in any way, shape, or form by something too loose, then you can just look frumpy. But if you do something like a peplum or strategic flare, or you divert the eye away from the waistline, then it just looks so much better. People get mad at me when I talk about Meghan Markle's skinny arms or her shoulders or her lack of a waistline, but they never get mad at me if I'm talking about like wanting to hide a tummy or thicker arms or something of that nature. So I'm not sure what that is about, but I'm just coming from a place of what we feel like we want to accentuate in our outfits, what we don't want to accentuate in our outfits, and just being realistic with where you're at. It doesn't mean that's where you're going to be at forever, and it doesn't mean it's a bad thing at all. In fact, wherever you're at is a good thing to accept and dress as best you can and feel as confident and fabulous as you can. And luckily, clothing can camouflage our insecurities, whatever they may be, because we all have them, and can accentuate places that we feel most confident about. We just have to know what to do. So overall, it was my least favorite floral look. I do love the hat. I absolutely love her hat. And I love the collar and the button down. And I even love the cuff sleeves. It's just maybe too much fabric in the arms, like the upper arms especially, and around the waist, it looks to have just a bit too much fabric. I think the idea of it is great, just needed to be tailored a little better perhaps to flatter her the best. Also, the print, I mean, does it remind you a little bit of like a couch? Or is that just me? I don't know. Davina Cadigan also had a floral look, which, you know, it's beautiful. It's a very pretty dress, but the shoes do not go at all. I do not like the shoes she paired with it. They are the chunky block heels that are on trend, but that nude color is just out of place. Um, and I like the dress, but it looks a little bit more like prom or evening to me. So I'm not sure it goes for the event perfectly or anything like that. However, I loved the blue dress that she wore. It is so gorgeous and perfect in every single way. Look at this masterpiece. And the hat is beautiful and fabulous. I absolutely love it. And even her heels look to have that tint of a blush tone to go with the flower in her hat. I am obsessed with this diamond shaped cutout of the collar here, that little button right there, and the waistline. Although the seam starts at the empire level right there, it is fitted for several inches down there so that it really enhances her figure and still shows off her waist. It's like giving your waist room to actually show up. And this dress looked fabulous. So Sophie had some hits and some misses at her days at Ascot. And this pink dress is one of my favorites of this whole collection. This soft pink color, the narrow V-neck, the flowy soft fabric, and some kitten heels here. It just looks really complimentary to her figure. The hat is also fabulous. It's a great, great look. I'll link a couple of my favorite kitten heels in the products tab. I know last time in the heels video, some of you were asking for shorter heels or some flats. I did link flats in a previous one, but I'll link some of my favorite kitten heels in this video. It's just below in the products tab. You can hover around the bottom of the screen or in the description box, and it'll come up with direct links to any products that are from this video or that I'm wearing on my face, my makeup, or that I would highly recommend to you guys. But Sophie also had a floral moment here in this dress, and this is the one I was telling you guys about. I'll put these side by side so you can see what I'm talking about with the waistline. We did talk about this some in her fashion edition. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it for you guys. But this gathered just under the bust, and this one is like elastic. It almost reminds me of like elastic on like sweatpants or something. I do not like how it looks right there. And gathering just under the bust just tends to not do her figure as much justice as a slightly lower waistline. It just, as I said, gives the waistline room to show up and show off, so to speak. But the pattern of it I really like, and I absolutely love her shoes and her hat. This hat is gorgeous. So there's a lot about this outfit or this look that I do like. It's just the matter of that waistline area and what it's doing with her bust and kind of taking away from her figure a little bit that I wish was different. Okay, so here is a drastically different pink look than the one we saw from Sophie from Savannah Miller, and it is, well, I mean, that's not my favorite. Her hat definitely takes things into the costume territory, which I know Ascot guests go for it with their hats, but like, let's ask, is this cotton candy, candy floss, or cotton poofs for a craft? What is it? It's crazy. It's a little Dr. Seuss for me. The dress, though, is just a little bit too wrinkly looking. It's coming off a bit messy. Otherwise, I like it okay. I really love the color, and I love these dramatic sleeves. She definitely has the height to pull off those big voluminous sleeves, and it still shows off her waist, so it's a good fit for her. Maybe the puckered sort of neckline combined with some of those wrinkles is throwing me off a little bit. But otherwise, I mean, the color and stuff is really pretty. Princess Royal Anne has a rewear on her Royal Ascot day here. I think Anne attended 3, maybe 4 times. I think I only saw 3 of her outfits. The green one is really, really pretty. I think that's a rewear too. I really love that color on her. And this one here, I think is amazing for her. I do wish that those pleats that they look to be a little bit of a drop pleat there, I wish that they were fitted or modified to sit a little bit higher. It would have modernized the outfit a little bit, but it also would have just made it a little bit more flattering for her, and that length would have been a little bit nicer for her. But I was surprised at how well this look aged, and honestly, that jacket is just perfectly tailored for her. So I thought this was really fun, and the collar is something that's like a serious throwback. Zara's outfit here is very beautiful. This dress I've seen her in before. I do wish it was maybe just a tad bit better fitted to her. Once again, it looks to have just a little bit too much room in the sleeves and stuff, but I'm not going to complain about it because overall I really do like this outfit. And the green hat was a little polarizing for people, but honestly, this is a great pop of color because the dress is all one color and it's the same tone, the same undertone as the hat. They're both this real like jewel, cool toned undertone that looks really good together. It is a statement pop to add to this dress that really works good. So although it doesn't match, it doesn't always need to match perfectly. This looks really nice. But like imagine if it was like an olivey green or like a yellowy green, it would be so disgusting. So that is the key, to make sure that the tones go well together. Lady Sophie Winkleman here in a beautiful yellow dress. I absolutely love this dress too. The puff sleeves, the little dainty buttons down the front, and that belt, and it looks to be a really soft, flowy skirt fabric, is a gorgeous look. And her accessories are all the exact same tone, so you can tell this was put together with some thought, and it looks really, really nice. Zeniska Mowat wearing the green version of the pink dress Sophie wore previously. This looks to fit her arms a little bit better. It looks to be maybe a little bit better fit than the time that Sophie wore that pink one. Perhaps it's a better fit in general, but it's still a scrunchy dress to me. I still don't love it. This is a little bit better. Honestly, maybe the green one would have looked nice on Sophie too. All right, here we are. We've arrived at the perfection that is Kate's outfit. She looks fabulous. I really love how she's wearing some deeper V-necks lately because she has such great height. She can really pull off a nice deep V-neck and create some good balance with her looks. So I really enjoy that coming from her lately. This dress would have looked fabulous if it was hemmed up a little bit shorter, closer to knee length, but like the rules at Ascot are knee length or lower, I think. So I get why she maybe didn't want it any shorter. It totally would have looked lovely that length too. Also, maybe she was a little bit of protection against the cold since it's an outdoor event to have it be a little bit longer, but I really love this color on her. The hat is perfect. The whole look is flawless. So many fabulous hats, so many beautiful looks. I hope that you had fun looking through the Royal Ascot fashions with me today. I know it's been a little while, but sometimes it's fun to just take a little look back. This is this sweet moment when King Charles's horse won a trophy, and I think he cried. It was so sweet and heartwarming. He was thrilled and emotional, of course. It was the first Royal Ascot without the Queen, and this was one of her absolute favorite events. So it was probably a really touching and heartwarming moment for him, and also bittersweet, of course, for everybody, but especially for King Charles. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today, you guys. Please do not forget to click the subscribe button so you do not miss my upcoming videos. Click the like button if you enjoyed today's video, and I will be back with some more content for you guys soon. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Have a happy day. Bye.